The reason for this video is to teach you everything you need to know about winning a car based on the law of attraction. The video is going to tell you everything you need, but what I would suggest is also grab hold of a copy of this book. This is my book, Wishing Well, which teaches you everything I do to use the law of attraction. And what I'm going to actually give you with this video, you've probably already seen it below or on my website, or I'll send you a link to it, is a link to the first half of this book. So you can get a bit of a taster, see what you think, and then if you decide it's something you want, you can go ahead and buy the second half. But you don't need it. Everything you need to win a car is included on this video. I want to tell you this story because it's one of my favourite cosmic ordering stories to date. This was my partner who about a year and a half ago decided she was going to win a car. We'd never really cosmically ordered something like that before. We'd won holidays, we created this house, all kinds of little things, but we'd never really gone out to win something substantial. She chose an Alfa Romeo Mito Veloce in black metallic paint, so that was her goal. We know that when you place a cosmic order for something, the more specific you are, the more chances you're going to get exactly what you wanted. So she chose the make, the model, the colour, the spec and everything, and she tuned into having this experience. So step number one, we imagined what it would be like to have this car. So we imagined it on the drive, imagined looking out of the window and seeing it down there on the front of the house. We imagined driving it. Whenever she was driving her own car, she used to, when she was holding the steering wheel, she'd imagine in her peripheral vision that she could see this Alfa around us, even though we were in a Citroen. She then imagined other people praising the car, saying, "Oh, where did you get that from?" She'd say, "Well, I won it in a competition." So she'd have these internal dialogues going on in her mind. She imagined showing it to her dad, driving it to work, all those kind of things. So we tuned into what it'd be like to own the car. Now she did this during meditations, so she'd just have a little mini meditation, just tune into herself, focus on her breathing, just 5 minutes a day of focusing on little things like that, which would reinstate to her subconscious mind that she owns the car. Neville says, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and that's exactly what she was doing. She was acting and being as though she'd already got the car. Now, some of the Ceph material, the nature of physical reality particularly, points out that what we should do once we've done these manifestations throughout our meditation is to do something physical, just to reaffirm this in the physical world. And this really helps to bring it out into physical reality. So one of the things that we did, and I'm going to really advise you that you do this too, is whatever car that you want to create, whatever car you want to win or to bring into your life with the law of attraction through whatever means, be given it or buy it or whatever, is when you see someone else driving one of those cars, flash your lights or beep your horn, or that was a little bit of synchronicity there, somebody beeps their horn driving past the house. But whenever you see someone who's got the car that you want, flash at them as though you're in the same car and they're part of your club. I mean, obviously they're going to wonder what you're doing, but it doesn't matter. That's something that you'd possibly do when you've got that car, especially if it's an unusual or quirky car. So we did that. We tuned into what it was like to be part of the Alfa Club, and we flashed other Alfa drivers as they drove past. So this was a physical thing that we could do that would complement the meditation, so that's really important. So there are the steps. You choose what it is that you want, be really specific, that's your goal that you're then going to move towards. You then do meditations regularly, 5 minutes a day is fantastic, of imagining what it's going to be like to have that experience. This is really important. We don't go into the sensations of being desperate for it or wanting it and making it so that if we don't get this it's going to be the be all and end all of the world. Make it be a little bit like, wouldn't it be cool if? So that's a really good phrase to use. Wouldn't it be cool if? Or what would it feel like if? And then tune into the feelings of owning it, and then just let that be okay if it does happen or if it doesn't happen. This is why this is so good for winning a car, because generally most people have already got a car, which is perfectly serviceable. So this isn't something that people are desperate for. It's not like trying to win a stack of money when you've got loads of bills coming in and you've got this desperation and you're kind of clinging on to the idea of winning this as being the only forms of escape from your situation. This is more a case of, yeah, I've already got a car, it's okay, it does me fine, but wouldn't it be cool if I had one of these cars instead? So it's that kind of feeling that we're looking for, a sense of detachment, tuning into having it, owning it, and feeling what it feels like for it to be, you know, in your physical reality, and then confirming this by physical action, like flashing at people, but making it be okay if it doesn't actually happen. So there's that sense of detachment. So that's what we did. After about 3 weeks, we got the first sign that something was starting to happen. Now, when you're using cosmic ordering or you're tuning into the law of attraction, The way the process works is the universe rearranges itself at a level that you're not aware of. So subconsciously, a lot of stuff goes on that prepares you to get whatever it is you've been focusing on. So all these steps get put in place, and when they're all aligned, you then progress through them. It's not a linear path. Sometimes you meander and things happen that you don't kind of expect, and that's exactly what happened with Natalie. She didn't just win a car outright. She went through a very bizarre set of circumstances that led to her getting the car. And I'm going to go through that process with you, and this weird set of events is what makes this Cosmic Order one of my favourite. Around about the same time, I was focusing on winning an iPod Touch. I'd been shown one, a friend of mine had got one. I had an iPod Nano, and I was really impressed with our iPod Touch. I was like, I quite fancy having one of those. Again, it was a case of I had something already that was quite similar, but wouldn't it be cool if I had one of them instead? I wasn't desperate, it didn't matter if I didn't get one, but I focused on what it'd be like to have one, so I imagined using it. I used his and imagined that it was mine. So I tuned quite into that feeling at the time. Now, this is going to become relevant in just a few moments. At the same time, my parents had got a Nintendo Wii, and they had Wii Fit. I had a go on that, and I was quite impressed. I thought, hey, this would be quite cool to have one of these. So I was tuned into having a Wii Fit as well, a Wii console with the Wii Fit game. So there's a couple of things that I wanted. There was loads of other stuff as well, but that's just two of the things that were on my list. So we then stumbled across a competition on the internet to win an Alfa Romeo Mito Lusso. So it's not the same one she wanted. She wanted the Veloce, which is the top spec model. This was the Lusso, the entry level model. It was also red, it wasn't black. So it wasn't exactly what she wanted, but that was pretty good. So we entered this competition. We don't enter competitions very often, but when we get a signal like that, we're kind of thinking, hey, this is telling us something, let's go for it. Now, the competition was a rally that we did on the internet. We had to log on to this website on the internet, and we had to do this online rally game, and the person that came top over a 2-month period across 10 stages would win this car. So we continued to focus on what it was like to own the car, and then we started to play the rally. In order to do the rally and have any chance whatsoever of winning, you had to get this nitrous boost code, and the way you got it was to go to an Alfa garage and to take a test drive in one of the cars. Now, this is something that I strongly advise you do. Whatever car you want to win, take a test drive in one, and we should have done it a lot sooner. It was ridiculous that we didn't. Test drive the car, really anchor the feeling of being in that car. So hold the steering wheel, focus on what it's like to be in that car, pay close attention to how it looks, and then when you're in your own car, bring those feelings back. It'd probably also be a good idea to take some photographs of you with the car, and then you can put those on the wall at home and tune into them. Another thing that you can do, which would be really useful, is whatever car you want to win, get a key fob for that car and put it on your car keys. That's another little physical representation. It's something manifest in the physical world, like flashing at other people that drive in the car. They're going to enable you to do that. So tune into the feeling of already owning it, and you'll be able to attract it to you. So we're going through this process. We bump into this competition on the internet, which is the first step. It's the first physical signs that it's starting to come towards us. Now, the competition, as I say, is over a 2-month period. We get to the top of the leaderboards quite quickly. Now, for being top of the leaderboard at the end of one of the weeks, we won a Nintendo Wii. So I got one of the things that I wanted. It came with a game bundle. This was about 1.5 years ago, and I'd later, after about 6 months, I decided that I wasn't using the Wii, so I ended up selling it. But I did get what I wanted. I didn't want to keep it, so I sold it to somebody else, but it was one of the things that I was focusing on, and it came into my life at that time. We did the competition. We got to... oh, sorry, I missed a little section out that's vitally important. To get the nitrous code, we went and did the test drive. Whilst we were at the garage for the test drive, we turned up at the garage and we said, we're here about the competition to win the car, and we've got to take a test drive. The guy at the garage took us out on the test drive. We came back to the garage. He said, you need to fill out these forms. Natalie filled out the forms. He gave those in. Now, we thought this was to validate our entry for the rally, and then we said, well, we need the nitrous code, and he hadn't got a clue what we were talking about. We then started saying about the rally on the internet, and he hadn't got a clue what we was on about. So this was weird. It was like we'd just given us forms to fill in to validate our entry, yet he hadn't heard of the rally, even though he worked at the Alfa garage. The guy then phoned one of the other Alfa garages, and it was the same situation with them, and then he phoned the head office. Now, the head office gave him the nitrous code that we needed. He gave us the code. We went home and carried on with the rally. Now, this was really strange, because we turned up and said, we're here for the competition to win the car, and he was like, oh yeah, not a problem, let's go for a test drive. But as soon as we started to talk about the rally on the internet and the nitrous code, he hadn't got a clue what we was talking about, and he worked for Alfa, so it was a really strange situation. So we got the code, we came back, we carried on with the competition, and by now, We got to the top of the leaderboards, we've won the Nintendo Wii, and we entered the final week of the rally. Then my internet connection went down. Now, that was really unusual. My ISP had no idea why it had gone down.